Hey, Sun here. I'm a privacy and security researcher, and you're watching the Privacy Guides. Haven't published in a while. I owe you a status update. I've been working really hard on kind of like the underlying infrastructure required to bring this project to the next level. 2 months ago or so, I launched my own Prime membership. The idea was that you guys could become members, and by being members, you had access to some perks. But essentially, you were also just supporting the massive amount of work required to create this content. And about 50 of you became members, and to each and every one of you, thank you so much for your support. And some people have been donating also lately, a bit more than usual, so thanks massively to everyone who donates. I mean, donations are really the most effective way of supporting all of this work. Now, I owe you an explanation as to what I've been up to. First things first, when I launched the Prime membership a while back, the whole website changed. It went from the old website that some of you may remember to a website powered by Ghost. And as I mentioned a whole bunch of times, Ghost is not as privacy conscious by design as I expected it to be. And I had to build my own membership platform on top of it. I had to build like a whole bunch of stuff, essentially Frankenshining the shit out of it. And it never really became what I hoped it would. And in all honesty, I think it was a mistake to switch. So to give you some perspective on this here, what you're seeing, this is the website that runs on Ghost. So essentially, it looks similar to the old one. Then you have stories. Not many of them, probably less than the ones who became members would have liked. Well, it's ironic. I don't know why in the world I did that actually, because I create content like using video, using images. I don't write that much. So this platform really doesn't make any sense. I do like writing once in a while, but it doesn't really work. And then in order to let go of my custom CMS that I had built, for reference material, I ended up like going all in on GitHub. And it really is a mess. I mean, some of you did reach out saying, hey, Sun, we missed the old CMS. And I felt you back then, and I definitely feel you right now. I mean, it's kind of impossible to see what's up with all of this content. Now, obviously, all of those lines is a guide that I poured a lot of time into. There really isn't a search feature, and there's all of this developer-facing stuff that a lot of you must not know what it is. GitHub is really a platform designed for developers. I love how it's a great tool for all of us to collaborate on this. By the way, if you haven't smashed that star on GitHub, please do so. I'll link to that page in the description. But there are a few people who contributed to this content. And then here, I mean, there's this little, it's just very awkward. I hate it, to be honest. I love it and I hate it at the same time. It's a good tool for publishers or developers. It's a really bad tool for you guys. So here is the old website. It's right now in dev mode. It's localhost, meaning it's not published yet, but that's where we're heading. This website is the old one with some tweaks. Essentially, it makes so much more sense that on this website, what you see there are episodes, because I'm a content creator and I publish video, not text most of the times. So I'm so excited to see this. And I know a lot of you dislike Google, and it's ironic how I publish on YouTube, but I'm a privacy researcher. I don't like doing it. It's just that's where people will discover this content, and then it might change their habits, which as a whole is a net positive for the ecosystem. So I have to publish on YouTube. But I don't really care about the algorithm so much. And I really wish there was a way for you guys to see this content outside of YouTube. And some of you mentioned Odyssey. I was self-hosting my own stuff on PeerTube before. But what I really would love to see in the future, and that's what I've been working on, is a consolidated platform where the reference material can live and where you guys can see latest episodes and stream them, like a fully sovereign, beautiful platform engineered for people who want to learn about privacy and security. Now, obviously, it's very time consuming and expensive to achieve this. So one of the major changes that will be occurring shortly is people who were members on the old website and people who will become members now on the old website until I migrate it over to the new one. You can become a member, by the way, by clicking on the join button right here. And please do so. I'll explain why in a second. But essentially, people who have been members will now be migrated over to become supporters on the new website. Supporters are people who really care about the mission, are people who really care about making as much of this knowledge public domain, people who want to see change at a massive scale in the world and who want to contribute to this. But I understand that a lot of these people also hate being on YouTube for different reasons. So supporters will now be able to stream all of the episodes right here on the website. That's a feature that I'm currently developing. But essentially, instead of clicking on this and being brought to YouTube, you're going to be able to click on this and view it right there on my website without trackers. And that's going to be a huge win for sovereignty. This website will be fully sovereign. It will be my own CMS, and it will be streaming from my own servers out of Iceland. And that's super cool. Now, all of this deep work on how to stream this content was essentially done so that I could also start selling masterclasses. So if we have a look at this here, there will be this new page on the website called Masterclasses where supporters will get 15% off, but essentially everyone will be able to purchase masterclasses. And masterclasses will be very similar to privacy guides, but more long form, where I'm holding the hand of the participant way more. And it's got a little more documentation around it. It's a little more coherent for people who don't like learning on their own. So I really like how I coined that here. Learn the stuff they don't teach in school. I mean, that's what the masterclasses will be all about. And in order to pull off masterclasses that you guys can watch even on tour, I had to develop my own streaming platform. So what you see here, it kind of looks like YouTube. It actually plays.
Welcome to this first module.
It's very similar to YouTube. You can pop it up full screen. It also supports putting it right down there so that you can then look at reference material while you're watching the episode. It's truly beautiful and, more importantly, integrated. So members will now become supporters. Supporters will be able to view all of the content on the website without ever touching to YouTube. Supporters will keep getting discounts for masterclasses, some free downloads right now that only applies to QR Bridge, and some perks like this. But the whole new system will account for the fact that I'm a privacy and security researcher, and sometimes I need to spend a month down the rabbit hole and I cannot create content. I only will create and publish it when I resurface from the rabbit hole. So I'm essentially re-engineering how this whole system works, and I am pumped like hell about it. So I'm not sure if I mentioned this in this state because I just recorded all of this and I wasn't capturing the right screen, damn it. But essentially this here is a hell of a mess. And the old CMS was designed in a way that is so much more user-friendly for people that are learning this. If you click here, I mean, this is not published yet, but you'll be able to click there in a second. This here is the equivalent to this page. So this here is exactly the same because this CMS is deeply integrated with GitHub, but it's actually fully sovereign, meaning I can commit code to GitHub and I can pull it on this server and then remaster how it's interfaced. So right here, there is search. So if you're like, I want to learn about Debian, I want to know what I can do with Debian, you just type a word and then you see all of the content, all of the reference material that you can actually use to learn about Debian. The same applies to pretty much anything you want. And there are dozens of privacy guides that have been published, and the latest ones are also here. And then the really cool thing is, if you're looking at like, okay, you know, how to connect to self-hosted hardened Bitcoin node on macOS, you know, or how to copy Raspberry Pi OS Lite to micro SD card. I mean, if you click on this, there is a table of contents, and then you can just look at the content right here. You never leave my website, meaning there are no trackers. So no Google, no Microsoft going on there. This stuff is not pulling from GitHub. It's actually pulling locally from that server. And all of this content is so rich in how it's made available to you guys. So you can then go down here. All of the steps can be referenced using in-page anchors. There are references among guides. So here it says that one of the requirements is a Debian bootable installer. Learn how to create one, on Debian-based operating system or Mac OS. You're like, okay, I'm on, Parrot OS, for instance. So you just click here and boom, then you can go down that rabbit hole. It's just such a beautiful experience. And that is what I want to work on. I want to make this content as easy as possible for everyone to see. What you're seeing here, supporters will be able to view videos about that on the website, but everyone will be able to access this content, which is public domain. And to everyone who may want to contribute, you can. And that's where GitHub plays in. This is a beautiful platform where we can all submit PGP signed pull requests, meaning that all of this, and if we have a look here at the commits, they're all cryptographically signed. So we can definitely make sure that even though it's hosted by Microsoft, the content there hasn't been tampered with. And that's super cool. And we can see here that a few of you have contributed. Thanks to everyone who has. And a bunch of you have started a project, which is great. If you haven't, I'll link to it in the description. Smash that star. It's really good to give credibility to open source projects. And this is a really good time to, again, say thanks to everyone who has become a member. You guys will become supporters shortly. If you're unhappy with this, get in touch. We'll make this work for you. And to everyone who has donated, I cannot express how thankful I am. Donations are an incredible way for you guys to help me. And a lot of this goes into buying devices. For instance, I recently bought this. This is a Pixel 3a. It's actually a Google phone, which is very ironic, but it's running Graphene OS, and it's running Graphene OS in a way where you can actually have Signal without having to go through Google's push notification servers. I've been really pumped about this, and that's the kind of content that I want to share with you. And this would just not be possible at an interesting scale without you guys supporting this project by donating or joining / becoming supporters shortly on the new website. So thanks to everyone for watching. I'm really excited about publishing actual, privacy guides, and I have a bunch of content aligned, but I'm a one-man show. I'm essentially creating the platform that makes all of this possible at the same time as I'm learning about all of this and trying to share as much as I can with you. So it's very time consuming, but amazingly exciting. Yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye.